What's good, y'all? This is Cutso, and I'm rocking on ADP.fm. Let's go. DJ culture right now, it's in a funky place just because there's a lot of people who are realizing that it's easy to make money off of it. So you have a lot of clout DJs who are just, either in it for money or in it for status. And, eventually they'll be filtered out by the real DJs. As for those real DJs out there who are really all about the music, all about the culture, all about the history, it's reassuring to know that the youth and the younger folks that are getting into it are not only aware of the history and everything behind it, but they're also, really about it. They're incorporating things that they learn, about the history of music and just techniques and everything. So much like anything, like, music or art or anything, you're going to have a sea of garbage that you have to sift through. When you find those diamonds are like really shining. But right now too, musically, people are being more adventurous, and I love that about it. Like, you can hear elements of like a Steely Dan song at midnight at a club, and old guys like us, old guys like me will like totally just be excited about it, but to the everyone else in the club, none the wiser. It's just a dope track. So I love it right now. It's in an adventurous spot. My bread and butter is open format, but I do enjoy doing theme sets just because it requires a lot more preparation and more intention. Through my career, I've always been sort of one of the go-to people for, theme sets. And, I feel blessed for that because it just kind of is a testament to my musical knowledge and my thirst for musical knowledge. And so, it depends on the day. Like every other weekend, I'm out playing open format. And that gives me a chance to like really incorporate all the stuff that I love. But with the theme sets, I like doing that just because, there's more intention behind it. Most of the people who show up for these theme sets are there for it. So the stragglers who are up there with their phones on their heads, like play Bad Bunny, they're going to be outnumbered. So it's never a factor because 95% of the people who are in there are there for it most of the time. But also sometimes, sticking to one theme can be kind of challenging because, there can be a lull. There could just be like a total plateau in the vibe. So you got to keep it interesting. And sometimes you got to bend, but for the most part, if you stick to the theme for the most part, but sometimes you kind of have to take them on another avenue just to get their attention, reel them back in. But if you can do that while sticking to the theme or generally sticking to the theme, then dude, that gives you the edge over anybody else who'd be like, all right, I'll just drop a hyphy song here real quick. Because you take them up a cliff, once you get back on the theme, you're shooting back down that cliff again. So how do we stick with the theme, but still maintain, the energy? So if I'm playing a big club, I like to play prime time. But, sometimes I'm in an opening mood. I have new records that I want to play, new tracks I want to play that I know probably won't work at midnight yet. So sometimes I like opening because, I get to, play new music, try out new things, but also I get off early. I'm a team player. Like, I come from a crew, so back-to-back is always fun because that other person, if you feel like they're your match, they'll keep you on your toes. And that really makes the vibe kind of unpredictable and the direction of where you're going musically unpredictable. And you get to learn on the fly. You're learning in the process, so vibing with somebody else is great. But if you're doing an impromptu B2B with someone who's kind of trash, then you're over here playing recovery the whole time, and that tends to not be fun. But I enjoy B2B sets. But if I got to split the check and rents due, the boys rocking solo. And it's fine. It's a learning experience for everybody. Because even with that, you're learning from them. And I'm always a student when it comes to this. So, and any opportunity that I get to learn something new and walk out with something new, then it's good. I'm with it. Play from the heart. You know, it's easy to just follow the trends and, you know, do what you see and just run with it. Or you can take little bits of everything you see and put that together and help formulate your own sound and your own style and your own method of doing things. So, you know, there's outright biting, there's outright emulating, and then there's being influenced and being, you know, yeah, it's just play from the heart. Don't ever forget why you got into it in the first place. Be open to learning. I'm 25 plus years in the game, and you know, even though I consider myself an educator, I'm learning, I'm a student. If you plan on going at this in the long haul, then just be open, you know? Approach everything with an open heart and an open mind. Remixes are nice little treats, but if you can maintain the party with originals, then you got the edge over everybody else. Because remixes can only have so much wow factor. You know what I mean? You gotta like mix it up, and you can't forget about the people. You know, you might have remixes that'll wow them, and you know, like it might be considered a curveball, but sometimes people just want to hear their joint. You can't have too much of one. And that's the challenge of being a DJ, is being able to fuse, you know, original music and remixes and edits and things like that. A second layer to that is being able to do something impressive with originals. You know, not just having that be your anchor, but like actually being able to throw a fastball, throw a curveball with originals that people already know. So, and then the remixes are just, it's the spice. If I could take two originals and make it into something new, even for just like a fragment of a song, then yo, I'm better than the next guy, or you know, whatever. I'm an originals guy just because those are my roots. You know, I love remixes, I produce remixes, but there has to be a balance. Because some people, you know, kind of going back to our original question, with, you know, DJ culture, and you know, some people think that playing just remixes is the way to go. And you know, in some situations maybe, but you know, if you're a working DJ at a club and your whole set is just full of remixes, you're not connecting with anybody but yourself. You know what I'm saying? So gotta have the originals in there. Right. People just want to hear their jam. Oh man, just listening to the radio, you know, everyone I heard on KSOL, KMEL, Wild 94.9, it was Wild 107 back in the day. Yeah, all those guys, man, just, you know. And then I have a brother who used to be a dancer. And so he would always bring home 4-track mixes for his dance routines, him and his crew's dance routines. And listening to those mixtapes like really got me into it. Like that got me into the craft of mixing. So, and you know, the Bay Area itself is just, it's a hotbed for great DJs, right? It's always been. And so when you grow up with, you know, these amazing DJs on the radio, and then you have these amazing DJs DJing your high school dance. You could go to the mall and you could see, you know, your favorite DJ playing in the middle of a Saturday, you know, like we're spoiled here in the Bay Area. And that's why the bar is set so high for DJs out here. And that's how it's easier to pick out the people who aren't really down and the people who aren't really about the craft. But if we're naming names, I grew up with cats like Michael Erickson, David Meyer, Glenn Oury, and of course you have, you know, the Pickles, you have Shortcut, Mike, Apollo, Q, and just all the mobile cats that I grew up with, all the mobile cats that I used to have to carry crates for, you know, all those guys. So it was an art. It was an art for me growing up, and once I got to learn what I was doing and like, you know, really take it to the level I wanted to, I started meeting my heroes. And that's when I started finding out that my heroes actually knew about me, and that blew my mind. So that kind of served as a motivation for me to keep going. Man, and it's crazy too, because, you know, there's so many different like, kind of like subsets of DJs, different types of DJs that I look up to. But in the Bay Area, I mean, you have Nopa Slaps, who's like really killing it with R&B and ribs. But he's also an amazing DJ, like just in general. Like you put him in any situation, he's gonna kill it. Of course, you know, Miles he's our golden boy. And he's always, you know, just no matter what, even on a bad day, he'll still blow your mind. I'm not tooting my own horn, but you know, there's some of my students are actually really killing it right now, like Darling Cool, BB Carols. They're like making a name for themselves out there. I watch them progress really fast from the day they started the class to where they are now. There's tons of DJs, and there's so many people that I could name. We'll be here all day, but right now, like, those are my hitters. The Bay Area as well as LA, they're known for their mobile DJ culture, which basically entailed, you know, a whole all-in-one package of DJs. So you have your lights, your sound system, your turntables, everything. Some mobile groups even have their own dance crew. And you know, it harkens back to the Jamaican sound clash culture and the sound system culture. And the Bay Area, you know, around the 80s and 90s. In the 80s, it kind of crafted its own culture out of that basis. And you would be at a high school gym and you have two DJ crews with just a wall of sound, a wall of lights, and they're baddest DJs, and just crates lined up behind them going song for song, mix for mix, going back and forth. And you know, it was sound clash culture. These guys would also be doing weddings. You know, they were working DJs, because all the biggest Bay Area DJs come from mobile culture, the mobile DJ culture. So that was a big foundation for a lot of us. It isn't what it used to be because, you know, systems have gotten more compact. There isn't much of an emphasis on that side of the culture anymore, but for anyone that matters and anyone that knows, they'll tell you that their foundations are in mobile DJing. Depends on the genre, but you know, we love drums. DJs love drums. Open drums at that, open bars, you know, so we can, you know, chop things up and cue them up at the right time, throw things over it. Something that's not too busy, but still has energy. So there's that fine line. It's really hard to meet that because, you know, louder, the better, you know, in most cases. But if you can pull off something that's minimal, but banging and like, you know, fits in a midnight set with maybe just like 4 or 5 elements in the track, dude, you got gold. Like that's lightning in a bottle right there. So yeah, and even balance, something a little more on the minimal side that has energy. That's what I love. Grinding, that's the prime example of that. Like I could drop that record at like midnight and it's just drums and like a little tiny bubble synth in the middle. But damn, dude, that shit knocks. What's good, y'all? This is Cutso here at All Day Play. About to rock a nice little set for y'all. We're gonna go all over the place today, man. We might have some raw raps, we might have some disco, we might have some house, we might have some ratchet joints, who knows? It's all magic, baby, and it just happens on the fly, so I'm just gonna let the wind take me wherever. What's up? This is Cutso for All Day Play FM.